Okay, with everybody gathered in chambers tonight, let's say that with a little more energy. Good evening. Okay, that's a lot better. Let's start things off on a higher note there. Well, listen, we're going to make this good evening a great evening by way of all of you being here tonight. So thank you so much for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause for joining us. Well, my name is Crystal Allen. I'm a proud member of the communications team here at the City of Las Vegas, under leadership of David Riggleman. And I'm honored to be your moderator for this informative, enlightening, and engaging forum. So are we ready? We're ready, okay. Well, we welcome all of you who are returning, those attending for the first time, and also those who are joining us online and on air. So before we move on, a few reminders that we'd like to pass along to you tonight. So the restrooms are outside, council chambers to the left. Parking is complimentary at 500 South Main Street Garage. Validation stickers are available at the city clerk's table in the lobby. And lastly, you can have water. We want you to stay hydrated. That's important. But of course, no food or other drinks are permitted here in council chambers. All right, well, tonight we are going to highlight the past, the present, and the future, progressive milestones under the guidance of a man with a visionary mindset and also a relentless passion for Ward 5 and this community. Let's hear it for Councilman Cedric Creer. Oh, we're not quite ready for you yet, though. That was just the first round. Because Ward 5 is committed to keeping you connected, we brought back our Community Partners Resource Fair. Anybody take advantage of that? Show of hands. Okay, great. Show of applause, yes? Okay, great. So we implore you to continue to stop by and learn more about all of the city resources and services and also our core community partners. So from the city, you're gonna find staff from the city's clerk's office, human resources, public works, neighborhood services, parks, recreation, and cultural affairs, public safety, emergency management, among many others. So we don't want you to miss a moment of the forum, but the resource fair will be available throughout the duration of the forum. So you can stop by and ask your questions or once the forum concludes. Well, tonight our deputy city managers and one of our department heads will share the significant investments made throughout Ward 5. They include the historic West Side, the Rancho Corridor, road and infrastructure projects, Symphony Park, and an initiative inspiring transformational change in our community, the 100 Plan in Action. All right, so ask one more time. Are we ready to get this forum started? Okay, I like that energy. I am honored to introduce the man of the evening, one who has dutifully served 6 years, 78 months, 338 weeks, 2,365 days, 3,408,120 minutes, and also 204,487,200 seconds and counting. Does it feel like it? Well, we're so happy to bring it to the microphone now. Please give a warm welcome to your Ward 5 City Councilman, Mr. Cedric Creer.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you all so much. How about we have Crystal Allen working with us? Huh? That's pretty cool, right? I asked her when she started if I could get her autograph, and she said no. Thank you all so much for being here tonight for our annual forum. This is something that is near and dear to my heart and something that I always feel is so pertinent and so important to do for our community. But first, before I get started, I just want to say hello and welcome my beautiful wife who is here with us, Kiba Creer. Kiba, thanks for coming out tonight. I always say that in life, public, private, or whatever, there is nothing that I do or I could do if I didn't have the support of my wife. She is exceptional. She is a person that is, everybody gets along with her. Everybody loves her. I seem to be the only person in life that can make her upset. I don't do it on purpose, sweetheart. But you know how us men get. It is so great to have you here tonight. Thank you for putting up with me and putting up with my desires to serve. Not only for the past 6.5 years, but for the past 20 years. We have been in public service. And so I thank you for all that you've done and inspired me to keep going. I want to say hello to my 2 daughters who are watching. Hopefully Hagen, who is in Brooklyn, New York, and then my youngest daughter, Kennedy, who is a junior at Penn State. So hello, ladies. Thank you for tuning in. So why are we here this evening? This is our annual Ward 5 Community Forum. We annually update you on all things Ward 5. Our Ward 5 strategic priorities have not changed since the first day I walked in office, and they will not change until the last day that I leave office. I always say that we have 1A, 1B, and 1C, because it's not really a 2, right? Unemployment when I walked in the door is at 15% in Ward 5, which means we have to get our community ready, trained, prepared to go to work, 1A. We have to mitigate homelessness. Half the homeless population resides in Ward 5. All of the homeless services that we offer as a city reside in Ward 5. So we have to do what we can responsibly to mitigate and do something about homelessness and mental health issues in our community. And then revitalization of the historic West Side, the community that I grew up in, born and raised, that I used to go get my hair cut on Jackson Avenue, where we used to go to church, where we would go and hang out. We would go to get our burgers on Jackson, and we would go get everything on Jackson. And so it is in my community. And I vowed when I walked in the office to say, I am not going to let our community to be stagnant again. We are gonna push and we're gonna move our community forward. And I can honestly say, and I feel very proud to say, that we have done exactly that. You know, I do things in life not to say I am gonna pat myself on the back about look at me and all the great things that we have done. But I took a look at myself when I got in public office, and I said, if you can't look at yourself at the end of your time served, because we are blessed to serve in these positions. I am blessed to serve as a public official. It is an absolute honor. And if you can't look back on your time served and say, what have you done to make a difference? You've wasted the community's time and you've wasted your time. And so I vowed not to let that happen. I vowed to say, we're gonna come in, we're gonna keep our foot to the ground, we're gonna keep pushing forward, we're gonna be strategic of how we go about doing things, and we're gonna execute. And we aren't gonna let things that have stopped our community from progressing in the past happen again. Whether it is a recession, whether that is COVID that took place, all the things that could have stopped progress. A lot of my job was to start the conversation about how do we get our community moving and moving forward. How do we get our community in a positive position? As I say, how do we change the course of the river of it going from east to west in a downward spiral? How do we stop it and dam it and go west to east in a positive spiral? Changing the entire trajectory of a community. How do we do that? With our team that he's been working with since the first day I walked in, they have been exceptional. I am blessed to serve with people who are so smart, who are so just intelligent, who are so determined to get things done and to move things forward. Once we got a strategic initiative in place, it was more my job was to keep the foot on the pedal. And I have done that to, you see our team who is around here, and they will tell you that we had high expectations, we have high expectations, and we've delivered upon them. So this is my final community forum. After 12 years of serving in the Nevada System of Education Board of Regents, 2 years in the Las Vegas Planning Commission, 6.5 years of council. My last council meeting will be November the 6th, and a new council person will be sworn in on December the 4th. It has been an honor to serve this community. It has been an honor to be your councilman. It's been an honor to be your regent and your planning commissioner. I can't think of a better way to give back to a community than to serve in public office. Many times it does not go with a thank you, with a pat on the back, but that's not why we all do it. I do it to make a difference in our community. And I want to thank you all for supporting me and in turn supporting our community. we have made some foundational changes in our Ward 5 community. It's very exciting times. Great things are happening in the city, and great things are happening in Ward 5. This event is all about city engagement with the residents to inform and share information on how our city is working to serve us. You will hear from the city's leadership team on the many Ward 5 accomplishments during my tenure as your Ward 5 councilman. You'll also hear from Dina Babsky, who's our acting director of economic and urban development, who will share exciting news on Symphony Park. There's also been strong community support for key stakeholders alike to help build the community life that we want to have in our community. I just want to thank a few key partners that played pivotal roles in investing in our community. You're going to hear more about that as we go on in the evening. But one is MGM Resorts. Now keep in mind, when I walked through the door, we didn't have corporations and entities investing in Ward 5. It was when I walked in the door, I had worked on the original 100 plan as a regent. So Zine, I see you. We would go sit in these meetings. We would talk about who and what we want to do. How do we want our community to be when we grow up? And nothing would happen. I called over to the director of planning and I said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you send me a copy of the 100 plan? And his response was, well, I know it's around there someplace. Let me see if I could find it. That's where we started. But through our city managers, starting with Scott Adams, Jorge Cervantes, Mike Jensen, who is here this evening with us, through the work of so many, we pushed forward and made things happen. I tell you this, if you go to any one of these individuals that are here, sitting here right now, they say you run into them at Costco, all right? It's a Sunday afternoon at Costco, and you walk up to any one of these individuals, and anybody really in the city, and you say, what's going on in Ward 5? They will individually break it down for you and tell you exactly what's happening in Ward 5. Each department will tell you exactly what they are doing to contribute toward the success of Ward 5. Parks and Recreation, Operation Maintenance, Economic Urban Development, City Manager's Office, Cultural Affairs. Just go talk to them. You don't need me to be there because we had to get everybody on the same page. It took a whole year. We went back out to the community with the 100 plan. Then we came up with the 100 plan in action. And it took get everybody on the same page. It's important. We're all moving in the same direction. One band, one sound when it comes to the historic West Side and what's going on with the 100 plan. And then we had to have partners to come along with us because we know we can't do it all by ourselves. We know that the city needs assistance. We know that we need people to invest into our community. And some people that started out originally, Cox Communications started out, was the first major corporation to invest in our community with the Strong Future Technology Center and the Cox Innovation Center that took place. We stood that up to make sure that our youth had an opportunity to go and have the ability to get taught and to learn about the jobs of the future, which are really happening right now, so that our active adults, our seniors, could have an opportunity to learn about jobs of the future, which are really happening right now. Hosting esports tournaments in the historic West Side. Who would have ever thought that we'd be hosting a Madden sports tournament in the historic West Side? It sounds kind of small, but it's a huge deal. MGM Resorts, I have to thank them. Bill Hornbuckle, Anthony Williams, who's our planning commissioner, and those, Maria Gotti, and so many others that helped get us our urban farm. They gave us $500,000 to stand up our urban farm, which we're going to talk about at James Gay Park, and how we're going to expand that is happening. The Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, Louis Jordan, who is here today. Thank you very much for all you're doing. The Vegas Golden Knights, Samuel Gaming and Hospitality Authority, Roseman University of Health Sciences, the Las Vegas Clark County Library District, our federal delegation, thank them as much. They have been very supportive of UNLV, the College of Southern Nevada, who is working with us in tandem to build our Workforce Education Center, Workforce Connections, the Mayor's Fund for Las Vegas Life, the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation, Howard Hughes Corporation, just to name a few. Imagine walking in and having nobody investing in our community and now having all these major corporations and people who are literally helping us change the course of the river. So I really want to thank all of them for doing it. I want to thank those individuals who are here. There's some people that are here. Captain Boveda, who is here from Bolden. Where are you, Captain? You're someplace around there. Thank you very much for all you do. If you didn't know, Ward 5 has 3 area commands. We have Northwest Area Command, Alpha Cheyenne is the 215. We have Bolden Area Command, which is in the heart of the historic West Side. We also have Downtown Area Command, DTAC, which is in downtown Las Vegas. Brother Helen Tolan is here. Where are you, Mel? Hey, say hello. Mother Tolan, say hey. How are you? Hey, my neighbor. We got your home on the historic registry list. We made that happen, and you are a treasure to our community. We thank you very much for all you do and for being here. I got to say hello to Constance Brooks, who is Constance. How are you? She's the Vice President of Government Affairs for UNLV. Thank you, Constance, for always supporting us and what we're doing. I see my Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated brothers who are here tonight. Thank y'all for the support. 06, love you. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Don't worry about it, the Kappas, you got your own form. It's all about the Alphas tonight. And finally, I just want to introduce our Ward 5 team, who have been a huge integral part of our success. We, I believe, are the only council office that hasn't had any turnover of staff. That is amazing, considering things change and things happen. Whether they walked in the office and told the council person, I can't stand you, ain't working for you no more, or whether the council person said, go get your stuff and get out. They have not changed and they have not wavered, and I tell you, I can't thank them enough for all that they've done for supporting me and supporting our ward. First, Tanya Jackson-Renter. Tanya, who runs our office, who keeps everybody on board, keeps us all going. The first person that you talk to when you come in office is most likely Tanya. So Tanya, thank you very much for all that you do and all you've done and continue to do to serve our community. Harry Williams. Here is Harry. If I'm out in the community on the street, 9 times out of 10, I'm with Harry. He handles our parks and recreation, our neighborhood services, a lot of our different committees that we're on. He handles a lot of different things, and I appreciate you, Harry. You have been a stalwart. Everybody needs a Harry in their life if you're working in the job that I got. So thank you, brother, for all you do. Thank you. And last but not least is the person who has a huge task in our office. We divide up the different departments into different things, and this person handles planning, which is huge. She gets to talk to Lex all the time, and our friends at NYRA, and she gets to talk to people who are looking to either get a patio cover in your backyard, a speed bump on your street, or are you trying to build $1 billion casino called Circa? You are going to go through this person and talk to her. And another of her big roles is this forum itself. She is the point person. We always have a point, and she is the point person. If you've been with us for 6 years, then you knew that the first forum that we had was at the West Side School, and it was packed. The room was packed, the hallway was packed, and it has grown incrementally. We moved it to City Hall. We are now live online on KCLV TV. And so she has played a huge role in the success of everything that we're doing. And I want to thank that, and that's Miss Kelly Woods. Thank you, Kelly, for all you do. I also saw the Assemblywoman Armstrong walk in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you for that. And now I'm going to turn the mic back to Crystal, and we're going to get this ball rolling. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here. Please, we had our vendor forum out front. We will be around afterwards if you want to talk to some people. You know, it's cool because it's the people that actually do the work. You can talk to me all day long. I love to talk to you. But if you want to talk to the people who are actually doing the work, who actually get it done, those are the people who are here today. So thank you all very much. And Crystal, come on up.
All right, everybody, let's hear it again for Councilman Crear, his incredible team, and all the impressive accomplishments that have happened, that are underway, and will continue in Ward 5. So that's just a taste of what we're going to talk about tonight. All right, well, this evening we have a special greeting for everyone gathered here in Chambers. We're going to ask that you direct your attention to the screen for a special message from our mayor, Mayor Carolyn Goodman.
Welcome, everyone, to fabulous Las Vegas City Hall. I'm Mayor Carolyn Goodman. This is the People's Building, and I'm so happy you're joining Ward 5 Councilman Cedric Crear this evening to talk about the issues that are important to you. City government is closest to the residents, and we want to hear from you so that we can continue to build a city that you want to be part of. I do want to take a moment first to thank Councilman Creer. He's been a driving force in Ward 5 and on the City Council over the past 6 years. He has taken the 100 plan and turned it into the 100 plan in action. He has shepherded so many projects that have improved life on the historic West Side and across Ward 5, and I want to thank him for all of his hard work. Again, thank you all for coming tonight, and Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas indeed. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Well, we're grateful to have another dedicated and dutiful public servant with us this evening who's going to bring you some greetings as well. He has proudly served the city of Las Vegas for more than 25 years and oversees hundreds of employees here for our fine city of Las Vegas. Everybody, please give him a warm welcome to our city manager, Mr. Mike Jansen.
Folks, let me reiterate what Councilman Creer said a little bit earlier. How lucky are we to have Crystal as part of our team? I will tell you, when Crystal was on Channel 3, it was must-see TV, and we have you on our team. It's awesome to have you, Crystal. Folks, let me just start off and welcome you all again to tonight. I've been lucky enough to participate with Councilman Creer every year at every annual event at all the different venues we've had, and I get to see a lot of old friends that I used to work with in different capacities of the city, and what you hear from our team is we're here to serve you, we're here to see your neighborhood be as good as it can be, and Councilman Creer has helped us see that happen. Tonight, what I want to do is just give you a little overview of how our city's organized and take just a few minutes to tell you what it's been like to work with Councilman Creer for the last 6.5 years. You might find this surprising, but we are now the 24th largest city in the United States. We're a population near 700,000. We're bigger than Boston, bigger than Detroit, Portland, Baltimore. We're just a little bit smaller than El Paso, Washington, D.C., and Nashville. We are a city that has 17 departments, and I'll show you what they look like here in this next slide. We have almost 3,700 employees, and we have an annual budget of almost $2.2 billion. Tonight, you're going to hear from our 3 deputy city managers that you see on this org chart, and they're going to discuss a variety of projects, programs, and activities that we have underway in Ward 5 and projects that are citywide projects. I think you're going to really enjoy what they have to share. So let's shift gears a little bit from what the city looks like in organization to what's those last 6.5 years been like working with Councilman Creer. Well, shortly after Councilman Creer came into the office, I met with him at the time I was the Public Works Director. His vision for Ward 5 exactly matched the core values of our city, which is building community to make life better. That is our core value. And when I met with Councilman Creer, that's what I heard. I heard a couple other things. Over the 6.5 years with Councilman Creer's leadership and support, I would say we've seen hundreds of millions of dollars in investments in Ward 5, all throughout Ward 5. One of the more common statements that Councilman Creer would say to me regularly when we would meet, this is what he would say. He'd say, Mike, we got a lot of work to do. Let's get it done. And I'm proud to say we've gotten a lot done, folks. We've got a lot more coming to Ward 5, so stay tuned for what's all coming next, but it's been quite a ride working with Councilman Creer. I think it's worth repeating some of the accomplishments that Councilman Creer has helped us deliver. And it goes from little things, medium-sized things, to big things. Little things, for some folks, scoreboards, LED lights at the baseball fields at Rainbow Family Park. Much bigger things, such as building a bigger and better fire station to replace a really old and outdated one. Building a new police substation on Fremont Street to service all of the downtown corridor in a better manner. Opening the new Ernest and Betty Becker Technology and Recreation Center. Helping bring a huge new library to Ward 5. Bringing a new CSN Workforce Training Center to Ward 5. Expanding affordable housing opportunities. Expanding services to address homelessness, mental health, and drug addiction. offering business assistance grants for those small businesses that could use a little grant to maybe make an improvement on their security. Folks, this list goes on and on and on. So on behalf of the entire city team, 3,700 strong, I just want to thank you, Councilman Creer, and a round of applause for Councilman Creer, folks. So folks, with that, it's my pleasure to introduce one of our deputy city managers. This is a guy that knows how to get things done. Let me introduce Steve Ford.
Thank you. I've got to move this down just a little bit because Mike's a little bit taller than I am. So welcome, everybody. I appreciate being here tonight. Councilman Creer has been a staunch supporter. I've been with the city for 28 years, the last few of which I've served in various capacities, and every one of those he has supported me and helped me. And I'd just like to thank him publicly for that. Thank you, Councilman. So today I'd like to talk about just a few things. So my responsibilities for the city are Parks, Recreation, Cultural Affairs, Public Works, and Community Development. And those are the three kind of the bigger departments we have. Parks and Recreation has all the recreational programming, all of the leagues, sports leagues, aquatics. The Cultural Affairs section or division does all of the visual arts, the special events, and then of course we have the Parks Maintenance and Rehabilitation crew. There's about 200, a little over 200 people full-time in that, and we have almost 400 part-timers, lifeguards and instructors. The Public Works team, all of the capital projects, and design, construction, transportation planning, all of our streets and sewer and flood control maintenance, city buildings and our city fleet, and then community development with planning and zoning, building permits, inspections, building licensing, compliance, and code enforcement. So I'm just going to show a couple of things that we've done lately. Over the last 6.5 years, Mike gave a good rundown of the list of projects that we've been able to complete in Ward 5. So just starting off with our Parks, Recreation, Cultural Affairs. In Ward 5, there's 2 community centers, the Active Adult Center, cultural, 2 aquatics facilities. We've got 17 parks, and then the 1 community garden that we manage and maintain. And some of the smaller projects that we've completed over the last little bit. Completed Lorenzi Park. We're starting the pickleball courts at Lorenzi Park to have those. We'll be constructing those a little bit south of the basketball courts. They're there now. Many of you may have noticed the expansion of the Ed Fountain parking lot. We did that so that we had some additional parking there for all of basically the football games and soccer games that happen because there is a lack of parking there. We've done a lot of several projects at Children's Memorial. Small things, as Mike mentioned, like slats for the ball fields, the scoreboards, all of that stuff. We've got some playgrounds that will be installed shortly. Fitzgerald Park, we did some new surfacing and we added some lights at the pickleball courts. One of the things, the big projects that we're doing on our cultural side is the African American History Exhibition. This is going to be an exhibit that is going to open in 2026 and be hosted in the main gallery of our new Civic Plaza building, which is what we're building across the street. The themes include the beginning, the Great Migration, the Historic West Side, and other things that will be of great, great worth and of great interest to everybody. We're really excited about that exhibit. Some of the things we've done in the past, the Symphony Parks Arts Festival. You started that, right, Councilman? You did. Yes, he did. The Symphony Parks Art Festival was a great thing. We've had almost 1,000 people attend that festival. The next one we have up is the Caribbean Heritage Festival. This will be the second annual, will be in April of 2025. This one will be at Sammy Davis Jr. Festival Plaza. We're looking forward to that as well. We have some artwork coming as part of the West Side Education and Training Center. We'll have a mural and sculpture, which will be evaluated by a group of panelists, and we've actually got semifinalist proposals are due in October. Wait, we are in October. October 24th. So we'll have some finalists, some semifinalists come in, and then in November, we'll have a presentation that will be open to the public on what the finalists presented. I think everybody knows about the historic West Side Legacy Park that was opened in 2021. I have to say that this project personally is kind of near and dear to my heart. I became the city engineer just as this project was kicking off, just as it was getting started, and was able to finish that project. And with all, since 2021, we've had over 80 inductees into the park. We have the nominations are open now nominations closed on October 1st for the 2025 honorees, and they will be announced soon. Public Works. How many of you like orange traffic cones? Because that's what our Public Works crew does. They're the orange traffic cone people. A couple of big projects that are coming up in Ward 5, Lake Mead, between Simmons and Losey. We call it a complete streets project. It does a full traffic, has landscape medians, wider sidewalks, safety improvements, all of those types of things. And that is going to start tentatively next month. And that's going to last for 20 months, plus or minus. So Lake Mead will be under construction for a while up there. The next one, whoops, let me go back one, was the Rancho Drive. This one won't be happening for a little bit. We're currently in the NEPA, which is the environmental review of the project. Our next step on that one will be consulting or selecting a design consultant for the widening and improving of Rancho between Rainbow and Mesquite. So that whole stretch will be under construction. No timeline on that. We're just getting started on that one. We also have a bunch of smaller projects, so arterial reconstruction, and that's just removal and replacement of asphalt pavement. Those are the kinds of projects that you see. Yeah, there's orange cones there, but they're not there for that long, but they're there. Recently in Ward 5, we've completed all of those projects you see there, Craig, Rainbow, Vegas, Owens, and Jones. Those are all done, and most of that funding comes from the state in the way of fuel tax. So the gas tax that you pay when you buy gasoline, that's the type of work that it does, is to redo the streets. Some other projects, we have something called the ITS, the Intelligent Transportation System Project. Basically what that does, and I can hardly wait for this, what that does is make the traffic signals talk to each other better, right? Yeah, we can all wait for that one, for that one to happen. We also have a project on Alexander Road between Torrey Pines and Decatur that will be coming up. That will start in about a year, maybe a year and a half. Roundabouts, the complete streets, again, wider sidewalks, wider roads, things of that nature. Some of the, and I missed one. I missed one. Okay, we got this one. Doolittle Master Plan. So when Councilman Creer says that he keeps the pedal to the metal and he keeps pushing, this is one that he keeps pushing. So the Doolittle Master Plan is a project that was conceived to redo the entire Doolittle site. The park, the building, the pool, the library, the West Las Vegas Arts Center, all of that, because everything has a life expectancy. And not all of this is funded right now. But you know what? We need to have a plan in place. We need to make a plan so that when funding opportunities come, we can jump on those. We're also working along with this with Matt Kelly, the reconstruction of Matt Kelly, which is supposed to start in summer of 26 and open the fall of 27, from what I have. So we'll be redoing the ball fields. The important part, though, is the library. So the library, I'm calling that phase 0, the West Las Vegas Arts Center. We all know the library's moving, right? Going to the new one on Martin Luther King. So what do we do with the old library? So we've started the design, and we know that once that library moves out, we've got to get in and do something with that one. We can't let it sit vacant. So we've already started the design work to start making the old West Las Vegas Library the new West Las Vegas Art Center. So the little art center that is there, that's got 2 rooms and a bathroom and an office, that will be redone in the West Las Vegas Library, and that will be the art center. So we're designing that now. That's been funded for full design. We're hoping next year we'll be funding for construction, which will start hopefully soon as the old library, the library district, moves out in end of 25, first part of 26, to get that going, make that art center, because we all know how important that art center is and how much that does for the youth. The summer camps that they do over at the West Las Vegas Art Center are amazing. So that is one of the things that we're going to be doing soon. We've also started what they call the schematic design portion of the ball fields. So what we have to do is each year we put a little bit of money into this to keep it going, keep the design going, and then when we get the money for the construction, we're ready to go. So that's the whole Doolittle master plan. It'll be laid out. It may be a 10-year project, but it's got to have a plan to start, and we're starting with the library. We're going to start with the ball fields, and then eventually we'll get to the community center, we'll get to the pool. All of that will be completely redone, and that's the plan that we have. And again, that is all because the councilman of this ward wanted to make life better for people and make this area better for folks. So that's the Doolittle master plan. The Doolittle Park renovation, I mentioned that. The phase 2 is the one where we were doing the pool and the community center. Again, no timeline on that. We haven't got the funding identified, but that's the plan that we're putting forward. So far in the obligated funding we have, we've got the money for the ball fields, we've got the money for the library concept design, then the full design, and then we've also funded the design for the entrance to the Active Adult Center. We received some federal money that we're going to be redoing that. So that door, if you're familiar with the Active Adult Center, it's got the door that's on the side that's kind of hard to get into. We're going to be redoing that entire entryway. So that's coming on. I see we have some fans. That's a big one. Again, so there's my contact information for those who wanted. Maggie Plaster is the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. Seth Floyd is our Director of Community Development, and Joy Paskey is our Public Works Director. And with that, I think I turn it over to you again. Okay, thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Steve Ford. Steve is great. I tell you, once again, we work with such smart individual people who are so dedicated to getting things done and accomplished. So thank you, Steve, for not only when you took this role as deputy chief, but throughout my tenure here, man. Many times in conversations you say, well, let me talk to Steve Ford about that. And he always comes through. You saw something that, we started that arts center, the Cultural Center Symphony Park, as we were building, and we're building more and more and bringing more people into that downtown corridor, into the, with Parkhaven, Oric, the new 21-story buildings going there, Origins, with what they're doing. We wanted to try to activate something down there and create something, to create some synergy. And I have to thank Myron Martin, who heads up the Smith Center for the Performing Arts. They actually control that grassy spot there, and to allow us to do that. And it's grown. The art festival started out kind of light, and it grows. And we knew that it was going to grow every single year. We just need to start and get going. And now it's turned into a really great cultural Cultural Arts Center. If you haven't gone down there, check it out because it's really, really cool. We're also doing the master plan for Hears Park, which is off of Jones and Lake Mead area. There's a big plan for that to redo Hears. And then obviously we're gonna learn more about the Doolittle master plan, which is important, right? How that came about was this, is that I always say government's great at doing one-outs. Well, let's build like a new building and then see how it goes, and then we'll do another building around there, and then we do something. And I was like, hold on, there's a lot of things going on, moving parts of Doolittle. We had a parking issue. We have the fields, the lifespan for the community center itself has about another 6-7 years on it. We knew that the art center and the library was moving. We knew the art center was small. We knew that the theater that's there is fine, works great, no issues there. The Shaquille O'Neal Foundation and Icy Hot and Howard Hughes Foundation came and helped us to build the Shaq courts. We got that done. There's a lot of moving parts. So, and then we had Matt Kelly. You know, Matt Kelly, I went to 6th grade at Matt Kelly, and Matt Kelly is all hardscape. It's the same school that was there when I was in 6th grade. And there's no green space. Kids need green space to go out and run and play. But we've got all this green space to the north. So how do we work with them and to create memorandums of understanding that will allow them to utilize the green space that's taking place with the school next door? And so we decided to do, once again, how I do it, you know, we are strategic. So we stopped talking about one-outs and we got Mel Green and some folk and we created the Doolittle Master Plan, which addresses the key issues. And so that is what's taking place now. We're gonna expand the Art Center. We're going to put parking garage there. We're going to work on getting the community center done, the active adult center. We're going to cover the pool. We're going to get new fields. So we were at the grass there just the other day for the Bolden night out. It's not what we want. That's not the standards of Ward 5 anymore. So we have switched that, and we are looking for much greater improvements, and it's going to happen. The cool thing is that the city manager is behind this, our deputy city managers are behind this, and so it is going to happen even after I am gone. I don't know who's going to take my place, but hopefully these projects that we have in place will continue to take place. So now I'm going to turn it over to our Deputy City Manager of Public Safety, Tim Hacker. He's going to talk to us about all of our public safety measures that are taking place, our marshals, our Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, our Animal Protective Services, our Specialty Courts, and then our Office of Emergency Services, which, you know, it's funny, you don't know about emergency services until you need emergency services, but we have an emergency service department that is excellent in class. So if all things break off, we're going to be okay. So Tim Hacker.
He wasn't kidding about having us all reading from the same sheet of music. Well, good evening. So just kudos to the councilman. When we have him in this spot, we can throw some accolades at him. We're going to do that. I started working with him when he came on 6.5 years ago. I had a different role before being a deputy city manager. I was Parks and Rec director. And so I got to work in your community and with the Doolittle Center and the parks. Was actually, I left about the time the Becker Tech was starting, but sat in some early meetings with the councilman where he said, we need to do something different. We need to do something innovative. And he did. That's hopefully going to be the model going forward, is working technology into our communities at that level. But again, another thing that he does is support staff. We all kind of chuckle about how he can put the pedal to the metal, but when he's out in the community, he is very supportive of staff, and we appreciate that. So thank you, sir. Public safety. So I'm kind of the council member took one of my lines. I'm like the insurance. You know, you want us, but you don't ever want to have to use us, right? But we have great departments, and I want to do a little bragging on them. So let's see where we're at. See if I can figure out. All right. So our deputy city marshals, and that includes corrections, that includes animal protection services, led by Chief Jason Potts. He has been a dynamo. We were lucky to get him out of police service out of California, the Oakland area, and he has come in and brought a level of professionalism and has built a team that is going to just continue to push bigger and better things. Very innovative and very much oriented on police oriented on solutions, and being there and being disruptive in those areas that need to be disruptive and providing the service that's needed. But they cover a lot of facilities and parks in Ward 5, and there's a list of them, 41 facilities, 17 parks. some statistics that the chief provided too, and this isn't to alarm anybody, but activities are going up. Why are activities going up is because the mayor and city council, Councilman Creer being a big part of that, have supported the expansion of our marshals. And when you expand and have marshals, what do you want them to do? You want them to be out in the community. You want them to be engaged with the community. And engagement is a big part of that. It's not arrests. It's engaging with the community. It's when we hear about a problem, let's go look into that. Let's do something that can be proactive. And so the chief provides some statistics. So when you see that arrests and citations are increased, that's because we have, over the last 7 years, doubled our marshals to 120 sworn positions. So our specialty teams, this is a Chief Jason Potts innovation. Is we're going to bring in teams and we're going to look at Fremont Street and what are the needs on Fremont Street. Again, Fremont Street's in Ward 5, so when you see all those citations and arrests, a lot of that's happening on Fremont Street. Any big surprise there? No. So a lot of activity there. We have over 22 million visitors coming to that area, and along with us locals that like to go to that area. So sometimes people get out of hand, and our marshals are there to bring them back into line. So we have a dedicated team there, but you can look at the numbers of arrests and citations and the increase. And again, that's because we're being proactive. This chief is being proactive in committing resources. On the weekends, Thursday through Sunday morning, we have over 10 officers deployed there in those late afternoon through early evening hours, again, addressing the issues that need to be that. We also, recently had Order Out established, where Councilman Creer took a lead on pushing that through. And that Order Out is in that area has actually been expanded here recently, but in that Fremont Street, in that the Fremont East area, now going down towards the Strat and around Main Street Station, is the fact that if people are causing problems, being a problem, that they have an opportunity to avoid jail by agreeing to an Order Out. And the Order Out can be up to 180 days in duration. What that also gets is that person gets to be known to the marshals and to Metro's staff. We have albums showing these folks off, and their pictures are pretty pictures. It's not like a high school yearbook, but it's darn close. And when those people are seen, they're engaged with again. And guess what? Out of 408 people that have been through that, and it's a voluntary program to avoid jail, remember, 140 have violated it. So we have about a 34% recidivism. And but that's good because they're being seen, they're being noticed, they're being removed. And that's the important thing. Also, the capping band is going through a remodel there based on Supreme Court. And again, that's important because you see it in your community in the West Side and throughout Ward 5 in different areas, is that we have people that unfortunately aren't housed and they're avoiding services. There's a lot of services, and they're being in public areas and sometimes on private properties. And so we want to make sure that we have tools to move them towards services. It's not to arrest people, it's to move them towards services. And the councilman's been very supportive of that, making sure that we have tools in that kit. Here's something that's pretty exciting is our problem-oriented policing. I talked a little bit about that, but also look at that puppy dog. How can you say no to that? Very highly trained. It's a working animal. I constantly say that. I remind the chief it's a working animal, and that dog is out. You'll see it on Fremont Street. It sniffs out elements, bombs. It's kind of its training, but also weapons. And so that animal can be used in that regard for large events, for specialty events. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't hurt when a marshal takes that into an elementary school to talk about policing and community policing. And so that's been very helpful too. So an area that I've continued to support very closely is our Animal Protection Services, and that's led by Administrator Rudy Tavar in a very dedicated team of, I believe, 17 sworn officers in the field and a few administrative support. Busy. Look at the numbers there from 22 to 23, from 21,500 calls to 23,570 calls. They are very busy. They are going from call to call to call. We're the only agency that operates almost a 24/7 operation. So we have people into the evenings and through the weekends. Our sister agencies don't necessarily do that. In priority calls for Ward 5, well, 22% of our priority calls, as you can see, are defined as cruelty complaints, aggressive animals at large, injured animals, bites. That constitutes priority. So 22% of our annual priority calls are from Ward 5. So what they do, it's all about the health, safety, and welfare of the community. That's what DPS does. That's what Animal Protection Services does. And so Rudy wanted to make sure that we outline some of those positive things. We're trying to make sure people are safe. We're trying to make sure that people are responsible pet owners. We work with a third party as to operate our shelter, and that's for 3 jurisdictions: the City of Las Vegas, City of North Las Vegas, and Clark County. And that has, been a area that has been under focus in the last so many years, but even since the huge renovation back in 17. State-of-the-art facility. We're looking at the operations right now even more closely to make sure it's serving the needs of the community today and going forward. LV Fire and Rescue is led by Chief Fernando Gray and a great administrative team that he's been put together as well. That is 800 people in that department. 750 are sworn and on the floor. The ones that are, 24/7 on the floor responding to calls for service. And there's a lot of things here that we're doing internally that the chief wanted to talk about, from health and wellness of our department employees, our culture. We're constantly working on that, and that's all important: inclusivity, leadership development. But what's really probably interesting to you is how much activity there is, not only in the city. You look at that responses from January of 24 to July of 21. That's not a full year. That's half a year, folks. And that department has already run on almost 92,000 calls. And over in Ward 5, that's about 17, almost 18,000 calls. So think about how busy the departments are. And you're served by 4 stations: Station 1, Station 3, Station 43, and Station 106. And you also have the home of our fire administration as well, and some training activities. And so there's good service, there's good focus on serving the community of Ward 5. Well, that seems a little daunting. Don't fret. Remember, Fremont Street's in Ward 5, Formaster and Owens, and there's a lot of special services and special needs in Ward 5. So prevention's a big part of that. Prevention's kind of that friendly face of the fire. You do want to see these folks. If you have elderly parents or elderly neighbors and they need help in dealing with their fire alarms and whatnot, we have that service. You can call. Fire prevention will come out and help install new systems and make sure they're operable and working. And also they go into multifamily units and say, hey, what's your plan for evacuation? And what I mean, that's the positive outward facing. And guess what? They also spend a lot of time talking to your elementary school, your junior high kids, and your seniors in your senior high schools, and getting those folks involved in the Explorer programs. So hopefully they'll explore careers in the fire service. That's really important to us, and getting an inclusive, diversified workforce is very important to us as well. Okay, in the municipal courts, great service. Everybody wants it. Everyone wants to visit. It's a brand new building. No, you just need to know that it's there, right? But what's really amazing about this municipal court is they are proactive. So we have specialty courts. We've had these 6 specialty courts in place for quite some time. The Wynn Court, which deals with women that find themselves in the judicial system. You have the DUI court, which speaks for itself when people have multiple DUIs. Mental health court has been in place for a while. Let's keep them out of jail and put them in services. Habitual offenders, again, people that just find themselves constantly grinding through the system. There's usually a reason for that. How do we get them services and divert them? Youth offenders, what do we do with our youth? And now remember, we're not juvenile court, so we're talking about youth 18, I believe, to 21, or 25, excuse me. And so we look at those folks, what's unique to their situations and what can we do to get them services? And then our veterans court, very proud, we're one of the first in the nation to do that. If our veterans are falling into the court system, what can we do to prop them up and keep them from that? Additionally, we've added a couple of more. Recently, Fresh Start deals with our unhomed or homeless folks, and how do we get those into services? Let's don't put them in jail, let's put them in services. And then the psychiatric stabilization, PSD. Mental health court does certain things for certain people. This is even more intense. And all these programs can run as long as 2 years, and because we know you don't solve issues overnight. And that's led by our administrator, Jack Esslinger. One thing Jack wanted me to talk a little bit about is about funding, because everybody wants to know about that. The specialty court programs almost pay for themselves through outside funding sources, where they started off with initial grants, in the $400,000 range. That's grown to over $1.2 million in just a very short time frame. And then are our specialty courts having an impact? Yeah, they are. Our recidivism rate is less than 20%, just a hair over 19.6%. And then the AG's office, the courts, the Supreme Court looks at anything under 25% is a success. So you can see that they're having an impact and making a difference in people's lives. So again, the message you should be getting is that while they're working with a lot of cases, 49,000 cases go through our court in a year, with those specialty courts dealing with getting those folks through the program, getting some graduations. The numbers aren't huge, but they're impactful. And then our small but mighty group, and I'm glad that the council member shined some light specifically on them. Our administrator, Carolyn Levering, and her team, I think they number 8 people. But they are there in case of big issues and big problems. They're the first line of defense. And our city manager is definitely calls them the little engine that could, I think, isn't it, Mike? They are, when we have fires, if there's people displaced, they're the ones that are working with a Red Cross to do that. If there's a number of people displaced by a fire, for example, they'll work with Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs to open up a center to get Red Cross in there. I mean, so they are always constantly worrying about the worst thing. And that's why we want them there. And then they help our community out specifically. They get us engaged with the county. They get us engaged with the state and so on. And Carolyn has built an incredible reputation as well. So with that, I'm done, Councilman, and I'm back to you, and you can introduce our next speaker. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate you. And thank you to Chief Potts, who's here, our marshals. Thank you to Chief Gray of our fire safety to keep all of us intact. I just want to say hello to a few people who are here. I know that a former Assemblyman, Mr. Gene Collins, is here, sir, who's head up the NAACP. Sir, thank you for all you've done for us. Thank you for being here. Also, I know that Assemblyman C.H. Miller is here. Good to see you, my friend. Great to see you. Asha Jones, who is now with Brightline. Where's Asha? I saw you. Asha cannot sneak into a room. Asha? And, Asha is the former chief of staff for Congressman Horsford, and we have worked so close over my 6 years with the congressman. And this is no, slight on our other congressional delegation because we do a lot with them, but Congressman Horsford has really, really, really been engaged with us. We've received a number of EDA grants from the Department of Commerce, which we'll talk about, that he has helped us facilitate with Complete Street programs. So we've seen grants where he's helped us with. And Asha has just been just a godsend for our community. Anytime you call her, it's, you're calling the the congressman. And it's so funny because she's not there anymore and everyone's like, well, what the hell are we gonna do now? Because I'm still calling Asha. So thank you very much, Asha, for being here tonight, and can't wait for Brightline. She's here, Brightline's going to be an amazing project. The high-speed train coming from Southern California to Las Vegas. So can't wait for that project to get going. The next person who's going to introduce is a person who has a lot of responsibilities with the city of Las Vegas. She came from UNLV. She was a city manager at Reno. She worked in the state assembly, and that is Miss Sabra Smith Newby, who's our deputy city manager for community services. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing with youth development, social innovation, the Mayor's Funds for Las Vegas Life. I saw Sally Dobler, who was here. Grant opportunities, some as we receive, some that we're still pending. Community outreach, all of our efforts and available resources, and then our state legislative impacts. Randy Robeson is also here, who is our in charge of governmental affairs for us, is here as we get up and gear up for the legislative session. We are going to go ask for a lot. So some of the people who are here, get ready. We're coming for you. We need some money. All right, Sabra, thank you.
I have to adjust this downward a little bit here. Thank you, Councilman, for the warm introduction, and thank you also for inviting me to speak tonight. It's been a true honor to be able to work with you. I know other speakers have said it earlier tonight, but his passion for Ward 5 really is unmatched and very apparent every day. So I'm very pleased to be able to talk to you tonight about some of the departments that report up to me. We have amazing staff at the City of Las Vegas, and they do amazing work every single day. The first one that I'll talk to you about is the Department of Neighborhood Services. Now, there's a number of the projects that are in neighborhood services and in YDSI, which is next, that I'm going to skip over a little bit because you've already heard about them, or you're going to hear about them when Councilman Creer talks about the 100 Plan in Action a little bit later this evening. So you have already heard about the Doolittle Entry Rehabilitation Project, but some of the community engagement efforts that we have had in neighborhood services include the Children's Memorial Park cleanup and red curb painting, World Refugee events with Catholic Charities, things like Shepherd's Breakfast, Neighborhood College, and Harrison House neighborhood cleanup. I won't go through all of them, but neighborhood services is very busy trying to engage the community and hear from the community and be responsive. On to some other ones. Again, the historic West Side Cooperative Grocery Store, you're going to hear more about that a little bit later, as well as the Farmers Market. We've had a couple of those already, but are planning more. One of our new programs that I really want to point out is our Mommy Mentor program. And this is a program to pair pregnant women with mentors to provide education, support, and help those pregnancies be healthy ones and produce healthy children. And then, of course, our MORE teams. Those are teams of individuals that go out into the community and interact with our unhoused population. We have 5 of those teams, and since April 2024, our MORE teams have engaged 552 unhoused individuals in over 100 locations just within Ward 5. So that's not the rest of the city, but that's just within Ward 5. And of those, 194 accepted services. So that's a great success rate, and we're looking to increase it. On to the next slide, we have the Jackson Avenue redevelopment, and Councilman's going to cover that a little bit later, so I'm going to skip over that one. We have the SHIFT program. If any of you have heard about that, it's an income qualified program for homeowners. If you have a code enforcement issue at your home or you need a rehab, we can come out there and help you bring your property into compliance with the code, and we can help support that financially. The Safe Summer Night at McWilliams Elementary, sometimes we have a great time collaborating with our other departments, and this is one where Neighborhood Services and YDSI collaborated together on this. And then we also collaborated with the fire department in a door-to-door canvassing, talking about fire alarms and fire detectors and fire safety. I won't talk too much about the Choice Neighborhood Grant because I don't want to take away the thunder. But I will talk about the historic West Side infill lots. We have a number of lots owned by the city, and these particular lots that I list out here are ones that we are currently under contract or have an agreement for a developer to develop into affordable or workforce housing. So we're looking forward to that coming to fruition. On to youth development and social initiatives. There's a number of different areas within YDSI, or YIDC, sometimes we like to call it that. Under workforce development, again, we talked a little bit about WETC. We're a fan of acronyms around here, and then we turn them into actual words. You'll see that. So the WETC program or project is already underway. We have a small business administration grant that served 397 small businesses. And what's great is that 27 of them actually secured contracts for work, for payment, and that's great. I think job and work development there. The Strong Future Youth and Adult Programming, over 400 individuals were trained, and what I love about this is 53 residents actually started their career from this program into the tech industry. That's 53 people into this great new and expanding area of, thank you, yeah. So I'm not gonna talk too much about the Culinary Training and Leadership Academy, but the West Side School campus, we provide a lot of services there, have helped over 50 families and 105 residents through Employ NV. In our social initiatives, there's a number here. ASSED, you'll hear about that later. The Urban Farms and Design Center, you'll hear about that a little bit later. But the Batteries Included and Batteries Included Next Gen helps with some of our teens, teaching them leadership and getting them exposed and ready for the next stage in their lives. And so some of these teens participated in FAFSA night, in college tours, beautification projects, volunteer projects you'll see there. And then our Durfelt Strong Future Enrichment Center had our very first and successful 6-week summer camp just recently and has served over 900 members as well. We have a number of education initiatives, as you might imagine, in YIDSI, and so I won't talk about the pre-K programs, but the Ward 5 school events, we have a number of those, including a principal roundtable, reading week, and Shoes That Fit, which got 250 pairs of shoes onto the feet of children, which is a great aspect. AmeriCorps works in our reInvent schools. There's 21 members that are through the city of Las Vegas assigned to Ward 5. And they, as I mentioned, they work in reInvent schools doing curriculum enrichment, engagement, working on literacy, chronic absenteeism, and other things. SafeKey is, of course, expanded and into Ward 5 has been for a while. There's 951 students from Ward 5 participate in our SafeKey programs. And what we're really proud of is that 4 of those programs the city is able to provide for free to those parents that before and after care. The reInvent After School program is also a free use program that provides additional enrichment to kids after school to provide a little bit of a boost academically. And the Office of Government and Community Affairs, very exciting stuff. There's a couple of aspects under that. We have a number of folks that are working in language access. We have a diversity outreach officer who's working on making sure that our information and information on our events and how to interact with the city is readily available to folks for whom English may not be their first language. Very important work. And then, of course, the 2025 legislative session is right around the corner, and the city is allowed 3 bill draft requests. So we have selected those and turned those in. They're listed here. The first one would allow us to charge Medicaid for the services at our recuperative care center for the unhoused. The second one would allow us to expand incentives for affordable housing that the city currently is allowed to provide up to 60% of area median income. We want to double that to 120% and hopefully get more affordable units out there. And then another affordable housing related project is to expand the transit-oriented development or developments and get some incentives in for that. It would be mixed use, it would be affordable housing, all on transit corridor lines so that we can get folks easily to and from work and in a great environment. And that's all I have for you, other than to say one last thing. One of my other responsibilities is the Mayor's Fund, which is a separate nonprofit but affiliated with the city of Las Vegas. And they have been able to raise funds for a number of different things, and they're still on a roll. So look them up. We were just at an event yesterday where the San Manuel Band of Indians were able to sponsor one of the Aero shuttles. And the Aero shuttles take folks that are unhoused from the courtyard to various appointments and to various places so they can get their ID, they can meet with Social Security, they can get some workforce training and so on and so forth. So Mayor's Fund is doing a great job and just want to give them a shout out. And thank you. And so next up, we have our Acting Director of Economic and Urban Development, Dita Babsky, and she's going to talk to you about Symphony Park. Very exciting.
Thank Good evening. Are you guys still with us? Yay! Awesome. My name is Dina Babsky. I oversee the Department of Economic and Urban Development. My department is responsible for business attraction, expansion, and retention, as well as the redevelopment agency work. So we, focus on different areas that the redevelopment agency has in its boundaries in terms of bringing new projects, development, businesses, and whatnot. So tonight, though, I'm only going to talk about the developments in Symphony Park. Does anybody know what Symphony Park used to be called? Union Park, almost there. Yeah, so essentially way back when, Symphony Park was actually a rail yard for Union Pacific, and the city took control of the site, the 61 acres, back in 2000. And it is only in 2009 when it was renamed from Union Park to Symphony Park to then align with the master plan, which was supposed to be the Center for Arts and Culture. So once that happened, and let me move to the slide so you can actually see the master plan of the area. Once we renamed the park to Symphony Park, that's when the conversation started about bringing the Smith Center, the Discovery Children's Museum, which opened in 2012 and have been staples in Symphony Park ever since. For many years after, no development had happened until essentially when Councilman took office is when most of the development that's there now has started taking place. So the very next project was brought over, the Park Haven, which is a residential project with some retail use, but that came on board in 2021. And going forward, just about every single year, we had either a new project going online or a new project being announced, so it's been a lot going on in Symphony Park. And I'm going to update you on the most recent developments. So currently under construction, you will see that we have a 400 key, which is a 400-room hotel. It's a dual brand hotel by Jackson Shaw, Marriott, AC Marriott and Element by Westin. That is currently under construction and is planned to be delivered next fall. So 2025, it will be ready for our guests to arrive, and it will definitely support all of the operation in the World Market Center. We've been waiting for this hotel for 6 years. That's how long it took for the deal to, actually be finalized with the pandemic and everything that came along. So we're very excited that that's happening, and we'll be here soon. Another exciting project is the high-rise. You probably all see it. It's changing the skyline of downtown. It is a 22-story residential development. It is going to be apartments for rent, and it is being developed by a developer who actually has proven and has a great record in Symphony Park, Southernland, and they are actually out of Tennessee. Tennessee, right, Mike? Nashville, okay. And so they, it's great to work with them. They've delivered amazing work for us. This high-rise is going to be delivered again fall of 2025. Along with that, they're building a 5-story residential apartment complex. It's going to deliver 265 units, along with all the appropriate parking. So I know parking, is sometimes a concern, but these developers are very considerate and always be sure that they have the plans to do that. That project is going to open just a bit earlier than the high-rise, so we're hoping maybe end of summer of next year. And as usual, all of the projects in Symphony Park, there's the walkability concept, so they all have retail on the bottom floor, restaurants or whatnot, so that kind of goes along with the master plan that we have for Symphony Park. The most recent announcement, very exciting, is the Museum of Art. And it is a very exciting project because it is the city's 3rd attempt to bring a museum of art, our own museum of art, to Las Vegas. It was announced July of this year. This project is sponsored and have the major donor, Miss Elaine Wynn. So that is happening in partnership with the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, LACMA. I'm sure most of you know and hopefully have visited, but that museum has great reputation, so that partnership really sets our museum up for great future and great success. They're currently in their capital raising campaign. The plan is that this museum, the construction will begin at the end of 2026, and hopefully within 24 months we'll get it opened up. They did hire a world-renowned architect by the name of Francis Curie out of Germany, Berlin. So that architect is known in the industry as he uses the local materials, whatever is known in the area. So you see that the rendering of this building depicts the red rock that is kind of the staple of our region. Another great addition to Symphony Park, and it is on the most north parcel of the area. It sits on about 6 acres. We call this a village within a village because it will deliver essentially condos. The Cello Tower, it's a 30-story tower with condos for sale. It is going to be the first high-rise tower in downtown with condos for sale in a while, so we're very excited for that. On top of that, they will deliver 165 units of apartments for rent. But the best part is that they have a plan for a 40,000 square foot grocery store, which is so needed in this area. Yay, I think it is worth the applaud. They will announce who the grocer is, hopefully later this year, and at the latest in January 2025. So again, very exciting. We're super thrilled. There will be some office space there, a lot more to come. And with this construction, again, hoping to break ground in December, January at the latest. Of course, our beautiful garage. How can we not talk about our garage? We just added 3 more floors to the City Parkway garage, and it is going, well, it is now a very big garage, 1,000 parking stalls. Not sure I would want to park on that 7th floor, but it's there. It services the Symphony Park, all of the shows that they have, the Smith Center. So we're very proud of it. It's going to have a pedestrian bridge and a vehicular bridge. So it can actually be, you can go from one garage on Main Street to that garage, depending, which route you need to take to go home or whatever's closer to you. And these are the updates on Symphony Park, but I do want to mention one thing. My department has a whole set of different incentives. And those are incentives that, oh my gosh, I need some water, I think. But those are incentives that that we can provide to small business, Councilman, thank you so much. That we can provide to businesses to help you expand, bring your business, thank you, to the redevelopment areas. If you have new development or you are excited or want to learn how to, develop projects, and if you are, which, most of the Ward 5 is in the redevelopment area, please call our office because we have incentives. Again, anything from business support to we can, direct you to where you can get support. If you have a development project, we may have monetary incentives. I don't know, I know that we don't always communicate and push this information out as best as we could have. So I want to take this opportunity to let you all know, please take my information down and call us and we can help. And I want to thank you so much for your leadership, Councilman. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for the honor to let me present today on the accomplishments under your leadership. So. There you go.
Thank you, that's perfect. Well, we promised you wealth information. Did we deliver? Yes, absolutely. From the historic West Side to Symphony Park, there is so much to wrap our heads around. Definitely should give us a sense of pride. It's encouraging to see what's been done, what's happening, and what we have to look forward to in the future. So a lot on the agenda underway. Let's thank our city manager office for all their great information and taking the time. Our city manager, Mike Jansen, also city deputy manager, Steve Ford, Sabre Smith Newby, Tim Hacker, and also our acting head of our economic and urban department, Dina Babsky. Appreciate you all. Shared so much important information with us. All right, it is with great pride now that we would like you to direct your attention to the screens because we have put together something that I think you all will enjoy quite a bit. And this is definitely a tribute to Councilman Creer. Councilman Crew, I saw a smile. A walk down memory lane, 6 years, and we didn't even put everything in. There's a part 2 coming, by the way, to put a little bit more in there. Well, before we have you take the microphone again, we have a special presentation. Oh, sorry. Yes, we do. We don't tell you everything. Not quite that. You might like this one even better. Could we have the men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, please, come up front? Yes, they are doing something for you. We can't tell you everything. All right, we're going to hand the mic over.
You made it through the meeting tonight?
Well, good evening. My name is Ken Youngblood. I'm a district director for Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. And I'm a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha. And as you can see, standing next to me this evening are just some fine gentlemen here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Brother Cedric Creer, councilman of Ward 5. We've seen your accolades be demonstrated this evening. All these members are here in the audience and those that are watching us from afar. And we just want to applaud you for your dedication to your genuine love for all mankind. We talk about this a lot in our fraternity. Manly deeds, scholarship, love for all mankind. And you truly are a true gentleman that's demonstrated that for the past 6 years. But beyond that, and all your other many years of service, public service, that is a true sign of an alpha man. So it's an honor today to present this plaque to you on behalf of your local brothers here in Las Vegas, but amongst the Alpha Phi Alpha brothers as a whole.
Thank you, man.
So, to our councilman, Ward 5, Brother Cedric Creer.
Well deserved, brother. Well deserved. Well deserved. Oh, man. Man, I say they got me all messed up on TV, trying to do my thing and trying to be all cool and collective. Man, Alpha Phi Alpha, my father was an Alpha, and it means a lot, right? Manly deeds, scholarship, love for all mankind, and those, aims are instilled within you when you choose, or when they choose you to come into this illustrious fraternity. Alpha is the first Black collegiate fraternity in the history of our country, founded December 4th, 1906 at Cornell University. And all of these gentlemen are professionals, and they are excellent in their class. And so for them to take time out, to come out and recognize me means more than you ever imagined. Just great. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get a picture. Well, let's come up here. Let's grab a... I apologize. We're going to take one second. We're going to take a quick pic. They even helped me with the mic. All right. That was very kind, very surprised. I didn't know that was going on. Now, how do you get back on track? I have the privilege to discuss the updates with the 100 Plan in action. I know we talked about this so much throughout the course of my time in office because it's so important. We talk about need there's a huge need in our community when I stepped in office of the 100 Plan in Action. And, you know, it started right before I got in office, the 100 Plan, then we went out to the community, came back with the 100 Plan in Action. We went back out to the community. As I said, we got the entire city on board with what we're doing, what's happening. And I can tell you that we have done what we said we're going to do. And I believe that I was the right person at the right time to take on this daunting task of trying to shift and change the entire trajectory of a community. I know that when we leave, there's a lot of hope in our community. There's a lot of action that is taking place in our community. If you used to look at our Planning Commission agenda items, we had a few things on the agenda, but now I joke with our Planning Commissioner, Williams, that we have so many things on the agenda, which means you have so many things taking place, and which is pretty cool. Developers are coming in developing, businesses are coming in looking to develop, and we are just moving, and it's really, really great to see. When we started out, we had 8 heavy lifts. We talked about Welcome to the Historic West Side, revitalization of Jackson Avenue, small steps, fake it no more, establish Washington Live, repairing the edges, establish complete and safe streets, reclaim James Gay Park, and then the Moulin Rouge Entertainment District. This slide is very important because when I got in office, as I say, we took a year, so 5 years, in 5 years, since launching the 100 Plan in Action, the Historic West Side has seen $34.2 million in completed investments. $15 million from the city of Las Vegas, and then we've leveraged those dollars of $19.2 million from other sources. $320.3 million of committed investment into the Historic West Side, into the 100 Plan in Action. $32.7 million from the city of Las Vegas, and we've leveraged $287.6 from other sources, for a grand total of an investment of $354.5 million in the 100 Plan in Action total investment. $47.7 million from the city of Las Vegas and $306 million from other sources. So for every $1 that the city has put in, it has leveraged $5.43 in additional investments. You know, you'd be hard pressed to find any community anywhere in the country that has made such an impact, and also in such a short period of time. You know, I say, you've heard me say this, I joke, we're moving at government lightning speed because we know the government doesn't quite move quite as quickly as we would like for them to, but in this particular case, they have, and I thank our team for doing that. We went from having nobody talking about the Historic West Side to everybody talking about the Historic West Side. We've hosted U.S. senators over at the West Side School. We've hosted the Assistant Secretary of Commerce at the West Side School. He heads up all the EDA grants. Thank you to John Edmonds, once again, our EDA representative, icon John Edmonds, who has worked with us. Man, I tell you, timing is important. John Edmonds comes along. He was not doing EDA. He was not a representative. It was a guy from LA that I met. And then John Edmonds called me up one day and said, I went and I got trained and I'm the EDA rep. And I said, hold on a second, John. I mean, you're very successful in business. You got this going on. Really? Are you? He goes, yeah. And he has been focused on us. And we have had so much accomplishments, and we've had so much media. You know, I go to different conferences around the city, LVGA, GoEd with the state, and you know what? They get up there and they talk about the trajectory of Southern Nevada and what's going on, and they actually say, and we're working on the 100 Plan in Action. Like, they would have never, ever talked about what's going on in the Historic West Side and 100 Plan in Action, but they use it all the time. When I say great, that's cool. Keep on keeping on. Lawrence Rutherford is here with Senator Cortez Masto's office. Thank you, brother. Good seeing you. And the work that we're doing. You know, we've presented the 100 Plan in Action to everybody. Everybody want to talk about what's going on in the 100 Plan, we presented it to them. From Bill Hornbuckle, the CEO, chairman of MGM Resorts, to every one of our congressional delegation, we sat down with them, to Apple, to Cox, to anybody and everybody, to UNLV, to CSN, to Nevada State, to WIN, to anybody. And my goal was to just let people know that it's happening and that it's there, and also to not give them any excuse not to invest in our community. Because you've always heard this. Well, we didn't know that was going on. Oh, we would have, if only we had known. Okay, you know now. And so there's no excuse. And we've had so much press, and I have to thank the media. You know, you don't thank the media often, but I tell you, I thank the media because they've covered us every step along the way. Our historic Westside Urban Farm opened in April 23 in James Gate Park. James Gate Park was closed for a number of years. We do ride-alongs in the community, and we said, you know, what's going on with this park? What are we going to do with it? Let's figure something out. 25% of our community experiences a form of food insecurity. I went to Bill Hornbuckle and Anthony Williams, who's our planning commissioner, who's a senior executive for MGM Resorts, and sat down with them, and I asked them and went through the 100 plan with them, and I asked them for their help. And they went back and they worked with their foundation, Tony Gladney, Maria Gotti, and others at MGM, and said, we want to help with the food insecurity. So they gave us $500,000, consists of 2 fully enclosed growing containers that grow greens, vining, fruits, and vegetables. Total investment of $1.5 million, initiated by that $500,000 match from MGM Resorts International, and a $1 million contribution from the city of Las Vegas. In year 1 of operation, we grew 2,129 pounds of herbs and vegetables. We've grown and distributed back out to the community. 47 young adults have volunteered and gained knowledge from the farm, and we produce currently being distributed via a farmer's market in the future, and we're going to be distributed through the Westside Co-op grocery facility. In 2014, the city began a partnership with community vendors and local growers to offer fresh produce for a series of farmers markets. We want vendors to come in. Our senior nutrition program, the markets are expected to continue and eventually find a permanent home at James Gate Park. We're reimagining James Gate Park as well. And so with the co-op grocery facility, we've had $1 million been allocated for architecture and design. We'll be seeking operating partners as well to do that. We're an urban farm and continue. We want to build an orchard at James Gate Park as well. Urban farm and continue to operate, and then we'll have the orchard to be added at the north end of the park. The playground equipment we hope to keep and plan. The restrooms out of there, they're existing, they'll stay there. Obviously bring in new public art. We're looking to bring a urban trail that's going to connect the urban farm and James Gate Park to the Westside Education Center and the Westside School, which is great. And then obviously to do all of that, we have to update and upgrade all of the broadband that's taking place there. So that'll be a lot of infrastructure work that'll take place. We've had a lot of investing in the historic Jackson Avenue. We created the Jackson Street Alliance, formed and launched in July of 24, nonprofit organization of property owners, and focused on restoring Jackson Street to its former glory as a vibrant, bustling community. As we know, I grew up there and it was that when I was growing up. We want to bring that back. I know Deidre is here. Good to see you, Deidre, one of our property owners and her family. She has been just engaged in what we need to get our property owners to start not talking about it, but doing about it. The goal is to generate jobs, attract investment, foster a thriving, inclusive community that pays homage to its past. And then all the Jackson Avenue redevelopment is taking place. Once again, we received the EDA award for $1.3 million grant in 2023, matched by a $328,000 contribution from the city, with additional funding coming from Choice Neighborhoods. Funding is designed to support private property owners on Jackson Avenue in developing and redeveloping their properties and opening businesses within them. Choice Neighborhoods, this is great. So the redevelopment of Marble Manor, you might have heard this is huge. Louis Jordan and his team at the Southern Nevada Housing Authority, we partnered with them. And we are one of 7 cities, Louis, across the country that receive money to repurpose Marble Manor. We received a $50 million Choice Neighborhood grant from HUD in July of 2024. We had the acting secretary come out and present that to us. And we've leveraged over $220 million in public and private resources to support the transformation of Marble Manor. This implementation grant was awarded for $450,000 in January for the planning grant that we received, which helped us plan the entire facility. We had a number of meetings with the stakeholders. We have plans to allow the individuals that are there. Over 8 years, existing housing will be replaced, and it's going to be tripled in capacity, 627 mixed income units. Existing public housing will replace, and residents will have the preference to move back in. So we'll work with them to find suitable housing for them, and then we'll give them first opportunities to come back in when it's all up and finished. Additional income mixes, including market rate units, will be included. Commercial space, parks, new roads, daycare facility, and other amenities will be added. We also received, Lewis and I were in DC a couple weeks ago, we received another $3 million that we received. And then also of that $50 million, $7 of that $1 million is going to go back into the community. Part of that is going to help with James Gay Park. So thank you, Lewis, and your team for your partnership, my friend. This is the type of stuff that we need. Once again, we can't do it all alone, and we need partners like yourself to do this. And once we get that going, I won't be here, but hopefully we can get Marble Manor up and get it going, and then we'll turn to Sherman Gardens, and then we'll turn to Annex, then we'll turn to other ones, and truly get these affordable housing facilities that have been there for 50, 60 years. You can only patch something up so much. At some point, you gotta make a move and rehabilitate it, and that's exactly what we're doing. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. This is another big one, a part of the 100 Plan in Action, trying to get people ready, trained, prepared to go to work. You've heard me say that 1,027 times in 6 years. This is our WETC, our Workforce Education Training Center. So we partnered once again with the College of Southern Nevada. We broke ground on WETC in May of 2024. It's a great day. That project investment is $16.4 million, includes a $6.9 million grant from the US EDA, which is the largest grant in the history of our state, is that $6.9 million EDA grant. And the WETC will be 15,000 square feet and located adjacent right to the historic West Side School. We sort of created that education training corridor, West Side School, WETC, that's right there, which is fantastic. It'll provide credential training programs in advanced manufacturing, information technology, construction trades, and healthcare. The city is responsible for the construction. CSCN is responsible for operations. It's expected to be open in August of 2025 and serve 450 students annually. We have a vast majority who will qualify for sponsorships and sponsorships tuition. Another thing too, like I was always saying that you need to literally figure out if you're not working and you're sitting on your grandmama's couch and she walks in and says, you need to go out and find you a job. You need to go on over there to that workforce center and see about getting work. Sometimes it boils down to just simple facts like that. You get up off the couch, you walk over there, and you go out and find you a job and start your career. I'm a firm believer that people want to work. They want to provide for their families. They want good paying jobs. They want good benefits to provide for their families. They want to walk in the door and be responsible. And so they want to get involved and get engaged in those jobs that are now, which are jobs of the future, with high paying jobs, which also gives them great benefits, which also provides for their family. Big believer, you've heard me say this. You give a person a good job, it changes their life, it changes their family's life, and also changes their community's life. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And continue with our Culinary Training Leadership Academy, which is a system-impacted youth in partnership with Chef Jeff Project, funded by a $1.8 million EDA grant to the city of Las Vegas. This includes a mobile kitchen facilities launched in late 2022, build out of a learning cafe and outdoor cooking and education space at the historic West Side School, which is underway and expected to open in 2025. It'll be right across from KCP there. So imagine having like a little working cafe that is taking place. You can go over there and you can hang out a little bit. Also, it's a training kitchen where Chef Jeff, if you're not familiar with the Chef Jeff Project, look it up. They do amazing stuff. They take kids and really engage them and immerse them into culinary arts. To date, we've had 501 youth have been served through the program, 37 community events held providing hands-on catering experience, 137 youth referred to work, and 6 new jobs have been created. Also, education training and jobs. Our Strong Start Go Mobile pre-K classroom on wheels located right at the historic West Side School. We began delivering classes for kids in 2021. This offers a half-day early education services, family engagement, workshops, and activities and community advocacies for kindergarten readiness. We have found that this has been wildly successful. We could use these throughout the entire valley. We have one in Ward 5, one on the east side of town. If we had another one, we could have capacity for it as well. This is just great. It provides families with a unique opportunity to attend a high-quality early learning program at no cost in the neighborhood. We know that if we can expose our children to a high-quality education at the youngest of age, it reaps benefits throughout the course of their career, and it's fantastic. The advanced connectivity for community and economic development, phase 1 and 2. This is a network provides free internet access for educational purposes. The network is funded via a $1.5 million EDA grant and $1 million from the state of Nevada and $500,000 from the city of Las Vegas. Phase 1 deployment was launched in 2021. It provides free internet access for K through 12 education via a partnership with the Clark County School District. Phase 2 deployment, which is underway, provides access for workforce training and job placement. It is set to deploy in 2025. The project coverage area is more than 1,000 acres across the entire historic West Side and adjacent sites. We started the Historic West Side Design Center, which is funded by the City of Las Vegas. It serves as a community space and informational space. If you haven't gone over there, check it out and look at the timeline that's there. It is amazing. It made me realize, one, that we desegregated Las Vegas in 1960 with the Moulin Rouge Agreement, but I didn't know that we desegregated the school system in 1972, which I was born in '69, and I realized that I am a product of that hard work that people put in. Little did I know that me going to a 6th grade center and me integrating with others was a product of our forefathers and our trailblazers' work for me to be able to do that. It showcases a historical timeline, as I mentioned. The center is in the process of undergoing an update this year. 61 community workshops, meetings, and activities have been held at the center since it opened. Other community-led reinvestments. 41,000 square foot library located on a 5-acre parcel in the historic West Side, right on MLK, right on Enterprise Park. This design will incorporate many new services, innovation zone, which will provide learning opportunities for 3D printing, woodworking, pottery, crafts, and horticulture. The need for our new library was great. We had our first community meeting at the old library, and the ceiling is about this big. It was so overcrowded that people were actually standing in the library to hear what was going on in the room, which is indicative that we need a brand new library in our community. It's going to have a multimedia zone, which will house podcasting studios, movie green screen studios, soundproof music sound rooms for bands to record their music, a multimedia lab, which provides artists space to produce and mix recordings, a young person's library. They'll feature a storytime room. We'll feature adult learning, dedicated classrooms, and business center and space for classes and seminars. It is going to be great. And then also we talked about the Doolittle Master Plan a little bit. That is also in the works. That is taking place, which is great because we are in need. Imagine that entire facility being redone. That picture is a rendition. Mel Green, you seen this picture before? Mel helped us with the master plan for the Doolittle complex. And imagine this facility on the corner of Lake Mead and J Street that will be the new Doolittle on the new Doolittle complex. It really is amazing. Mel and his team did an amazing, great job. So we thank them a lot. Now, Share Downtown, Share West Side, Sam Cherry and his team, Cherry Development, thank you for stepping up and working with us with this. This is a $28 million workforce housing project with ground floor commercial located right at D and Jefferson. The completion scheduled is spring of 2026. Sam is here, and so we're going to hold him accountable for that, Sam. 2026, Sam. It includes 104 one-bedroom apartments units, 84 classified as workforce housing. The Workforce Market Hall, which will be there also, will be located adjacent to the project and be developed as part of it. The Market Hall would be a small business incubator facility owned by the city of Las Vegas. And it'd also be retail space on the bottom, I think 10 to 15,000 square foot of retail space on the bottom floor. So opportunities for those that are looking to have a business, do something inside of there. I urge you to figure that out and let's see if we can get something going inside of there. Our Doolittle Active Adult Center entrance rehabilitation, you heard that Steve talked about that. We've done some rehabilitation of the Active Adult Center, which turned out great. We got a lot of feedback, ladies. I see you. that the entrance wasn't quite right and we needed to make a difference. And so we're going to change the active adult entrance that's taking place. The city's invested $7,000 of community development block grant money, CDBG funding to complete this work. And look, this is just a highlight of some of the things that we've done. We have so many things that are still in the works with the 100 Plan in Action. You've heard me say that it is a living, breathing document. It is always evolving. If you want, you can take a picture of this QR code. It'll direct you to where the 100 Plan is. If you want to download it, a copy of the new one. We do have a couple that are available here that we've printed out on that you can take. But we have made a lot of progress in a very, very short period of time, you all. And I just want to thank you all once again for allowing me to serve as the councilman for Ward 5. It has been my honor and something that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I think that we've done good by our community. I will walk away from this position with my head held high, knowing that we made a difference in our community and a difference in my community. And I've said this a lot of times that I am of the community, from the community, and I only want the best for our community. We set standards that anybody who wants to come into our ward to do some work, if you can't pick it up, put it in downtown Summerlin. If you can't pick it up and put it on the Las Vegas Strip, then don't bring it to our ward, because we are not accepting anything less than excellence anymore. So I want to thank you all. I think that I'm going to turn this back over to Crystal. Thank you, Crystal, for being our hostess of the evening, our mistress of ceremonies. Isn't she fantastic? She's just great. Thank you all.
You know, Councilman Creer thanked us for allowing him to serve these 6 years. But could we all give him a big thank you for his leadership, his passion, his persistence? Let's get on our feet and thank him. This is your night. The community appreciates you, loves you, and you have truly left an indelible mark on this community. Can we give a big thank you on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. So well deserved, so well deserved. We even got some tears. We appreciate you more than you know. He has done so much over this 6 years, and you really have to wrap your head around the magnitude and the impact that has taken place in Ward 5. And we love how you said, we're not accepting anything less but excellence in our community. So we continue to stand by that, thanks to you and your leadership. All right, everybody, we just appreciate you being here. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking in all this information. Thank you for continuing to contribute to your community. The fact that you're here shows that you are vested in what's happening. So before we leave, I got to share a couple things with you. By the way, if someone that you know couldn't make it out and they want to watch this again, we have it on replay. You can watch it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and that's going to be on KCLV. So you just go on KCLV.com to find out everything that you need to know. Also, we'll be sending out a link to this so you can kind of watch it again in case you missed something, you weren't able to take notes. We're going to be sending out the link so you can watch this in its entirety once again. With that being said, also our city manager, thank you, Mike Jansen, for being here. Your judicious leadership, we appreciate you, and the fact that you are here shows that you are vested in what's happening in the Ward 5 community. Our deputy city manager, the acting director of economic and urban development, thank you all so much. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all of you. And can we hear it again for Councilman Creer's team? Tanya, Kelly, Harry. They work feverishly to make this forum possible, and they have been true, dedicated servants over these past 6 years, so we thank them so much. There were a couple other things I needed to add, so let me make sure I get all this. As Tanya, I can't get in trouble with you. Let me make sure I get all this right. Okay, we want to thank our vendors. Thank you to all of our vendors who took part in our resource fair. We appreciate you as well, and in fact, I think they're going to be out there for another 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, Tanya. She keeps me in line. Tanya, Miss Jenkins, Alexis Jenkins, where are you? Ward 5 intern. Thank you for being here. came in to show her support for Councilman Creer, giving her an opportunity to work with the city. So thank you, Alexis. We hope you were able to take away a lot from your internship, and we expect to see big things from you in the future, right? And can we also applaud Councilman Creer's incredible, supportive, sophisticated wife, the lovely Miss Kiva Creer. How long's it been? More than 20 years? You celebrate your 30 years. They need to write a book. We appreciate you. And shout out to their beautiful daughters, Hagen and Kennedy as well. We know doing big things. They're watching online, so we appreciate them. I think I might have gone over my, if you need validation, I make sure I'll mention that again. It's on the city clerk's table in the lobby, so make sure so you don't have to pay for parking. So with that being said, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate your support. And most of all, we appreciate Councilman Creer for all he's done and the legacy that he leaves behind. With that being said, everybody have a good night.